to the Army and Navy and the battles they have won. As to America's colors, the colors have never run.
May the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
Oh, those are the immortal words of Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China. This is Tim's New York Giant Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to talk about Twitter, silly trade ideas, and the fact that sometimes this world has just gone topsy-turvy because you take a look at the Giants situation and you see where they're at. And we've talked about the roster before, and we've talked about there's a dearth of talent in this roster. And I actually think the 2023 roster is probably a little bit worse than the 2022 roster. And the 2024 rooster is not looking any better. There's a lot of things that are going on. There's a lot of moving pieces. There is just a lot of speculation about what the Giants are going to do or what they can do. I want to talk about a potential Justin Fields trade because we don't know what Chicago is going to do, but there's something out there in the wind in Chicago. And I want to talk about that because this is all kind of confusing. It just kind of clouds the mind. And we've talked about this before. When your mind gets clouded, where do you go? You go to Magic Mind. You go to a little green shot. You go to that little green bottle. All natural. Gives you that energy, gives you that focus, gives you that boost. We've been talking about it for months now. I've had people come up to me and say, Tim, it actually does work. Because you know what? People have this issue sometimes with productivity. They just can't get motivated. They just can't get going. What do you want to do? What's the first thing you do? You grab another cup of coffee. That's not good for you. You can't just keep plowing yourself with coffee and energy drinks. You need this little shot that will improve your morning. It gives you that energy boost, and not just that quick energy boost that dissipates. It gives you that energy boost, maybe not throughout the day. It really depends on who you are. For me, it almost goes out through the entire day. And like I said, I started drinking less coffee by going with the little green shot. And I think right there should help you. It makes you feel more relaxed. It puts you in a better mood. It just does all those things for you. And we've said it before, one of my favorite ingredients, matcha, man. Matcha, way less caffeine than coffee. That's that thing, man, that coffee. I love my coffee, but it gets you going, and the problem is it gives you the jitters. This to me is it just releases through the day. At least it does for me. I recommend it to anyone that's looking to be a little bit more focused, looking to have that little bit more energy. And like I said before, you're going to go to the link that you see, magicmind.com, Jan, NYGST. And you're going to get 1 month free when you subscribe to 3 months. You see in the comment section below. You see it as always. It's magicmind.com, Jan, NYGST. You get 1 month free when you subscribe to 3 months. Or if you're not ready to make that commitment, just use the offered code NYG20 on their website. And you'll see a little bit of a discount. You'll see a little bit of savings if you want to just try one pack. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want you to go there. I got my mind on my magic and my magic on my mind. Proud partners, of course, of Online Big Blue Sports. There's just so many things you see on Twitter for the Giants. It just boggles the mind. It makes your mind hurt. It makes my brain sometimes, like I said, lose that focus. I literally saw yesterday someone say, and it was actually not just one person, it was a couple people, that we should trade Andrew Thomas. That the cap space that we're having, the cap issues we're going to have, is because of the fact that we really are tied into 3 guys for almost like 40% of our cap right now. And now that number's going to fluctuate, and that number's going to change because of the fact that what's happening is you're going to sign new guys, different guys are going to happen, but you have this dearth up or this log jam of contracts between Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, and Dexter Lawrence. I mean, honestly, you got Daniel Jones making 18% of almost 19% of the cap. You got another 10 for Thomas, and another almost 9 for Dexter Lawrence. Not considering also the 5% for Darren Waller. And the idea was, the thought process was let's trade him. It's almost as good as when I saw someone say we should trade Saquon Barkley to Chicago to get either the number 1 pick or Justin Fields. And this person was very animate about making that trade. Very, 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 very vocal about making the trade. And I had to throw a little fire or I should say, had to throw a little water onto the fire.
IQs just dropped sharply while I was away.
Because I had to mention the fact that Saquon Barkley's not under contract. You can't trade a player that's not under contract. He's not. You would have to have Saquon Barkley agree to a deal and then be moved. And you may have to just agree with the deal to Chicago, but then be moved to Chicago that way. Not just, hey, we're going to turn around and just trade Saquon Barkley with a pick and we're going to get the number 1 overall pick. But for the people that want to like, well, just trade Andrew Thomas. Oh, okay. Yeah, because that'll work. We'll just trade that. We got a $62 million dead cap number with a $20-something million cap hit. So we're going to have like a $40 million dead cap number just this year alone. Not even gonna mention, like other scenarios, like in 2025 where there's a $40 million cap hit. If you want to trade him in 2026, you still have a $21 million cap hit against a $17 million number. So you would literally only be losing $3 million. But then you're only paying him you're probably gonna end up renegotiating this contract in 2026 anyways, and he's only 27 years old. So you're gonna move a 27-year-old left tackle to turn around and get the first overall pick and then try to find offensive linemen, or are you going to shift Evan Neal over to the left tackle position because he played so well at the right tackle position? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, honestly, if you're looking at it from a giant perspective, the only contract that you could really move that would make sense, that would give you some type of return and not destroy your cap too much, would be someone like Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau's got a cap hit of almost 8.5 and a dead cap number of 18. So you are going to save money. You're only going to lose about $10 million. He's probably going to be, now you will have more ramifications over in 2025 and 2026, but he would be an asset that you could move along with a first-round pick, maybe multiple first-round picks, to Chicago. And then you can also get something in return, such as the first overall pick. But you want the Montez Sweat trade. I don't know if Chicago would even be interested in Kayvon. But I laugh because you need to look into the reality of something before you say, well, we should just do this. Because I always laugh. I always tell people, this isn't Madden. You can't just go and reset the cap number if things aren't going well for your team. You have to take a look at the entire totality of the roster. And moving on someone from like Andrew Thomas, you are going to put a dearth at your left tackle position, and then you're going to give up multiple first-round assets to get the number 1 overall pick. So you worried about Daniel Jones not surviving behind this line. Now try doing it without Andrew Thomas. The Giants had this weird season. They really did have a weird season. If you take a look at how the Giants play improved after Daniel Jones left going 1-4, how the Giants actually improved. I mean, they won 5 games out of their last 10 without Daniel Jones. So that should tell you that maybe the offensive line wasn't totally the problem. Maybe the wide receiving core wasn't totally the problem. Maybe Kafka wasn't totally the problem. Maybe it was the guy that you had under center wearing number 8. So maybe the thought process of making a trade for a quarterback is not crazy. I personally think if you are going to go the quarterback direction and you want to hold on to assets and you want to keep your draft capital, you have to take a look at a Justin Fields trade. If Chicago isn't going that direction, I personally don't think Chicago is going to trade Justin Fields because of the fact that I think they're going to trade the number 1 pick. You don't retain your head coach, who is a defensive-minded head coach, if you're going to go out and draft a quarterback. That doesn't make sense. If that was the case, you would bring in a new guy who would then probably get rid of Justin Fields and select their quarterback to come in and operate their system. And so it doesn't make sense.
1 + 1 still 2, right?
So that just makes 1 + 1 = 2. So my thought process, they're probably going to end up trading the pick. But if they don't trade the pick, I mean, Justin Fields is going to be a cheaper option. I don't think you would have to give up a number 1 pick. I think he's a guy you can give up multiple lower level picks. Like maybe you give up a 2 from this year, a 4 and maybe a 4 and a 5 from next year. He's a guy that's got one more year under his rookie deal, and then he's got the 5th year option. He's a guy that you could play immediately because of the fact that he's been in the NFL for 3 years now. He's got the talent, he's got the arm, he's got the mobility. If you're looking for a true running quarterback, not a quarterback who can run, that's your guy right there. If you want to operate a system more towards the system in Buffalo, because Lord knows maybe Ken Dorsey's coming this way. Oh no, he's not bald. You can't hire anyone on the staff unless you're bald. But he is more closer to a Josh Allen type-esque person than Daniel Jones ever is or ever will be. He's younger, he's faster, he's stronger. Well, I don't know about all that. Well, I know he's younger, and I know he's faster, and I know he's stronger, yes. I think he's got more understanding of pocket awareness. I think he has more of an understanding of how he needs to move in the pocket. He's got more pocket fluidity. I was laughing because I did after the Daniel Jones's 19 season, I did a video, and someone sent it to me. And I laughed because I gave Daniel Jones his flowers. But I said in the video that if he does not figure out his pocket presence and his pocket awareness and how to move in the pocket and gain some pocket fluidity, he's going to get himself killed. And I actually remember saying that, and I thought to myself, well, yeah, that could be an issue more and more. And I said that was going to be his biggest issue, and the fact that if he didn't figure it out, he was going to take a beating and he was going to lose confidence. And that was right after the 19 season. I mean, at this point in time, you look at what's going on here, and you're just like, you can't run it back for year 6 and then maybe even year 7 and still hope that this guy has got something, because he's not getting any younger, and the only problem is he's not getting any better. And people will be like, well, Justin Fields, I love when people go, Justin Fields isn't any better. Justin Fields had almost the identical stats to Daniel Jones in that 2022 season. Except he had more rushing. He had a little bit less passing yards. He had more rushing yards, and I believe he had more passing touchdowns and more rushing touchdowns. And in that year, he had nothing. He had no wide receivers. He had no offensive lines. Hell, at one point in time, he had Alex Leatherwood starting at left tackle. But for some reason, he did more with the less talent that he had than Daniel Jones did on a team that went to the playoffs. Playoffs? It's just something to think about. All I'm going to say to people, if you're going to, Twitter is great because it's an exchange of information. I do enjoy that. It's an exchange of information. But the problem is this. If you're going to exchange information, make sure the information that you're exchanging makes sense. Don't just say you're going to trade someone. I saw someone also wanted to trade Dexter Lawrence. I'm like, okay, you're just going to trade assets left and right, and you don't care how it's going to affect the salary cap for the next 3 years. And you're going to hope that you're devoiding your roster of that, when you devoid your roster of talent, that it's not going to be that bad. Oh, is it the draft yet? Or can we at least get to free agency? Because I can't wait for that. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on right now because, we're going to have that live stream on Sunday with I don't know if R0B's not coming in on Sunday. I think he's going to come in on Monday for a live stream. But we are going to have some special guests on Sunday for the live stream. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And as always, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell because you're on the way. That'd be awesome.